Hello and welcome to another Cygnus Destroyer review. In case you missed it last week, I became the most hated person on this little corner of the internet when I shared a controversial opinion, and today I'm probably not going to make things any better for my reputation as I finally give my in-depth thoughts of Sega's polarizing new game, Sonic Forces. Sonic Team's latest attempt to resuscitate the franchise that they gave life to was released on November 7th, 2017 for the PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. Sonic Forces began development in 2013 and was unveiled along with Sonic Mania during the series' 25th anniversary celebration. While the latter left fans in a state of nostalgic bliss, the former made them nervously hesitant due to its darker tone reminiscent of the dreaded and despised Sonic 06. As someone who's grown fond of the 3D Outcast, I was immediately excited for the arrival of the lesser hyped 2017 project, and I anxiously look forward to the 7th like a sleepless kid on Christmas morning, but you might be surprised to find out that my initial impressions weren't very favorable. To paraphrase an old adage, games should not be judged by their covers, but Sonic Forces left a bad taste in my mouth as soon as I inserted the disc. Gone are the flashy cinematic prologues of Adventure and Shadow the Hedgehog, replaced with an uninspired title logo, a bland intro screen, and an options menu with the difficulty setting defaulted to hard. This could have meant one of two things. Either it was a reverse Bayou Billy and a baby could beat Robotnik with minimal effort, or Sonic Team went all out and made the most brutal platformer of all time. My mind raced with the possibilities, and I was pumped to put my skills through an arduous gauntlet of tricky trials, but reality, as it has a tendency to do, came crashing down upon me, eradicating all of my hopes and dreams in one fell swoop. Yes, Sonic Forces is sadly devoid of the hair-pulling intensity that defined the earlier installments, and I breezed by most of the levels of my first playthrough without breaking a sweat. This would normally be an unforgivable offense to me, and I'd happily drop the hammer on in my virtual court of law, but there were thankfully enough positive traits to balance out this injustice. The plot, for example, starts off on a strong note by speedily setting up the fascinating new addition to the Blue Blur's Rogues Gallery named Infinite. Infinite's origins are explored in the free Shadow DLC, but to give a basic summary, the anti-hero Hedgehog humiliated the captain of the defense squad and he subsequently volunteered to be united with a fragment of the Phantom Ruby. Long story short, Sonic steps in to stop Infinite and the Phantom Ruby from wreaking havoc and altering time and space, but he gets his butt kicked and apparently goes temporarily MIA. In the wake of his defeat, Knuckles and the rest of the Resistance work towards figuring out how to restore peace to the land without the aid of their fearless leader, and they wind up receiving assistance from a promising new recruit in the process. This rookie, as he or she is usually referred to as, is fully customizable in the Character Maker, with options ranging from the typical hedgehog to birds or bears, and a wide assortment of wardrobe and accessories that are unlocked after completing each stage. Owing to the initially limited choices available, the animal avatar will go through a metamorphosis over the course of the journey, and my bunny stand-in went from being a nerdy office drone to a badass zebra-striped lucha libre wannabe channeling the spirit of Hulkamania. Regardless of which species is selected, they all share the same base moveset and are equipped with a laser gun that lives up to the old Transformers ad slogan. It can disperse a wire that obliterates enemies and latches onto nearby hooks to swing across the surroundings, and it can be converted into a true weapon of mass destruction via the attachable Wispins. On the PS4 version, the Wispins are activated by pressing R2 or triangle, and doing so unleashes a multitude of devastating attacks, from flamethrower bursts to precision-guided lightning and penetrating drill strikes. With this impressive supply of weaponry at his disposal, my wrestling rabbit fit in quite well with the main protagonist and his classic counterpart. The trio forge a strong partnership over the course of Forces, and minus a few hiccups along their adventure, the overall experience is top-notch. The level design is miles beyond 06 and Rise of Lyric, with the 3 gameplay types offering a refreshing variety. Modern Sonic's design sticks with the familiar homing, grinding, and boost system, so veterans of the more recent 3D titles should have no problem acclimating to his controls, but the classic sections admittedly feel a bit clunky in comparison to their Genesis predecessors, and this is one aspect of the game where I give the advantage to Christian Whitehead and the makers of Mania. The cutscenes and accompanying voice cast are about what you'd expect from this series, so they're most likely going to elicit a love-hate reaction depending on your feelings towards the titles of this ilk.
No! How could I lose to the likes of you again?
That was a blast. Bring some chili dogs next time.
But the soundtrack offers a mix of chiptunes and orchestrated pieces that perfectly complement the style that they're crafted for, with the highlights being the Iron Fortress theme and the super catchy Fist Bump, co-written and sung by Doug Robb of Hoobastank. The boss battles are inventive and deviate from the standard formula by putting the spotlight on Infinite and the Phantom Ruby warping mechanic, which I appreciated, but they can also be really cheap. The final multi-part encounter in particular gave me a headache from the numerous insta-kills causing me to lose progress, but the unlimited chances and checkpoints allotted allowed me to keep my cool, and I attained victory over the bastard Eggman in a little over 5 hours. In spite of the disappointingly brief duration and overall lack of challenge, Sonic Forces still has a lot to offer, and I see myself returning to it quite frequently in the future for a number of reasons. The aforementioned free Shadow DLC implements one of my favorite characters into the main story and provides essential exposition for the awesome new villain. The unlockable secret stages serve as a bonus challenge mode with rewards dished out for successfully dealing with one central obstacle in a timely manner, and the SOS missions instigate interesting variables into the pre-existing locations on the overworld map indicated by a colored icon. The red missions require the player to take on the role of a rented avatar, and the goal is to complete the specified area without dying, while green turns the rented avatar into a switchable option, and blue involves searching for a traditional capsule and freeing the trapped animals inside. All of the above helps to greatly enhance the inadequate length narrative, and that's not even including the surprisingly huge replay value boost from potential speedrunning attempts. No matter how you slice it though, Sonic Forces isn't reinventing the wheel, and it suffers from some serious flaws that keep it from being a great game, but they were outweighed for me personally by the enormous fun factor, and fans of the franchise's notorious 2000 entries would be wise to add a copy to their collection. Anyway, with that wrapped up, I think I'm Sonic'd out for a while. This is now the 5th video I've produced about the Blue Blur for this channel this year, and I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing me blather on about him by now, so I suppose we could all use a non-Sega related IUPG palette cleanser. Be sure to come back for that, but until then, this is Matt, aka Cygnus Destroyer, signing out. Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw and you want to see more, the boxes on the screen right now will lead to some more of my videos, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking on my avatar in the bottom right hand corner. Thanks again.